My good people, this is episode number 12 of the Macha Connect show. We appreciate you for being a returning subscriber and a returning viewer. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share this video so that other people may receive this content. And in our today's episode, we are looking at why Israel is at war with other Islamic states. In the last episode, I covered the history of Israel and how it became a nation. And now in this episode, we are going to cover why Israel is at war with other Islamic states. If you look at this now, Israel and the Palestinian conflicts dates back at the end of the 19th century. Actually, in the 1947, the United Nations adopted a resolution which is called Resolution 181, which sought to partition and divide the British Mandate of the Palestine into Jewish states, where there will be Arabs and Jewish states. On May 1948, the Israel state was born. Of course, this aspect of division of the Arab and Israel state sparked a lot of controversies, and the first war emerged between the Arab and the Israel because of the border security and land ownership. These were the main matters which resorted into this war. Now, this war ended in the year 1949 with Israel victory. But 750,000 Palestinians were displaced, and the territory was divided into three parts, where there was the state of Israel, there was the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. So in the year 1956, there emerged a new war where tensions arose between the regions of the Israel, Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. This war was named the Suez Crisis. So the Israel preemptively attacked the Egyptians and the Syrian air forces, starting the Six-Day War. So Israel Defense Forces fought aggressively and acquired territorial control over the Sinai Peninsula, Gaza Strip, and part of the Egypt on the lower part of it, and also the West Bank, Eastern Jerusalem from Jordan, and the Golan Heights from the Syria. Now later, there emerged another war which was called the Six-Day War. So the Egypt, Syria launched a war against Israel in what came to be the Six-Day War. So this surprise attack was meant to regain their lost territory. Remember that in the previous war, which was called the Suez Crisis, Israel had already fought the Syrians and the Egyptians and acquired large sums of land. So this attack was meant to regain their lost territory, which was lost during the rebirth of the Israel. So this one resulted to a lot of significant gains in Egypt and Israel. But now the Egyptian president Anwar al-Sadat declared the war a victory for Egypt, as it allowed Egypt and the Syrian to negotiate over previous ceded territory, the land which was lost during the war. In the year 1967, following a series of ceasefire and peace negotiation in Egypt and Israel, they signed a treaty which was called Camp David Accords, which was a peace treaty that ended the 30-year conflict between Egypt and Israel. Over the time, there emerged another war in the year 1973, which was called Yom Kippur War. I think I'm pronouncing it properly. Yom Kippur War. So after this ceasefire of the Six-Day War, sporadic fighting continued or developed in different regions on the Israel, on the Syria, on the Egyptian part. And in the year 1973, a full-scale war emerged in the holiday of what we call Yom Kippur. So that is how the war was named, after this Jewish holiday we call Yom Kippur. So Israel was caught off guard by Egyptian forces crossing the Suez Canal. Now, after the emergence of this war, These two sides, the Egyptians and the Syrian states, they fought very aggressively, and Israel suffered huge number of losses. So Israel had so many casualties within this period of war. The fighting, of course, went on through the Islamic holy month of Ramadan and ended on October 26. So an agreement between Israel and Egypt was signed on January 18, 1974, which provided for Israel withdrawal from the Sinai and west of the Milta and the Gidi passes. In the same circumstance, Egypt was to reduce the size of its forces on the east bank of the canal. In the year 1982, another war emerged, which was referred to as the Lebanon War. This one came after the Israel complete withdrawal from the Sinai Peninsula. So tensions increased day by day between the Israel and the Palestinians, which resorted to Israel bombing Beirut and southern Lebanon. So Israel land forces crossed over to the outskirts of Beirut and encircled the town. Negotiations between Israel and the Palestinian Liberation Organization led to Israel withdrawal from the west of Beirut, and the Palestine Liberation Organization also evacuated from the city under supervision of the multinational force, which involved the United Nations. So in the same time, a new militia group, which was called Hezbollah, was formed. So this militia group engaged Israel in a guerrilla campaign until Israel withdrew fully from the city in May 2000. Hezbollah continued to press Israel over the border disputes and the Israel detention of the Lebanese prisoners. And on May 12, 2006, Hezbollah launched a barrage of rockets into the northern Israel. Of course, this one diverted the Israel Defense Forces' attention, and the Hezbollah fighters infiltrated the border, killing several Israelis soldiers and capturing others in an attempt to pressure Israel into releasing Lebanese prisoners. In retaliation, Israel also launched an attack into southern Lebanon. This one was meant to recover the captured soldiers, and Israel deployed both ground soldiers and air offensive measures that aimed at pushing Hezbollah away from the Israel-Lebanese border. So now, when these hostilities came to an end in August 14th, Israel leaders claimed that they had met most of the war objective, but the abducted soldiers still remained in Hezbollah's custody. Now, these attacks continued sporadically until Hamas launched its deadly attack on Israel on October 7th, 2023, in what was called the most deadly, aggressive, and Israel history of losses in this war. On this day, Hamas launched dozens of rockets on Israel and stormed the southern part of Israel cities and the towns across the border of the Gaza Strip. So this one was a surprise attack where 1,300 Israelis were killed, and also over 3,000 were injured. There were so many hostages which were taken by the Hamas. This surprise attack forced Israel Defense Forces to declare a war against the Hamas and started an aerial campaign and ground operations within the Gaza Strip. Israel ordered over 1 million Palestinians, civilians, northern Gaza, to evacuate ahead of the ground invasion that commenced on November 27 in conjunction with Israelis' continued aerial assault. A firm directive was given by the Israel Defense Force minister to carry out a complete siege on Gaza. This war led to a lot of destruction in Gaza City, with millions of people are fleeing as refugees in the Egyptian border. On Friday, 13th June 2025, Israel launched airstrikes on the Iran nuclear sites. These strikes killed several top commanders of Iran and 6 nuclear scientists. So Israel was targeting nuclear facilities and ballistic missile factories in the military and the military commanders to prevent Iran from developing an atomic weapon. So in the same day, Iran also launched a retaliatory massive airstrikes against Israel. It is said that close to 100 missiles were launched against Israel. So these air raid sirens in Israel were heard all over, with the people taking covers in bomb shelters. So Israel managed to intercept most of these missiles fired from Iran, but some managed to strike the city of Ramat Gan, which is near Tel Aviv. Of course, they destroyed a lot of buildings, vehicles, and the streets were full of debris. Israel is known for its superior Iron Dome system. This is an air defense system which uses radars to detect incoming missiles, rockets, and also drones. And during this war, the Iron Dome system, defense system, was very overwhelmed by the large number of missiles which were coming from the Iran side. Although the United States was able to help the Israeli defense forces to pull down these missiles which were coming from the Iran side, although most of the missiles hit the Israel sites. Now, continuing, there are so much tensions between Israel and other Islamic states, which most of the people perceive that this might be the beginning of Third World War. This is how Israel began its conflict with other Islamic states. Meet me in the next episode as we discuss more in this channel. Thank you for watching.